American businessman Bo Bennett said, self-sabotage is like a game of mental tug of war. It's the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind, where the subconscious mind always eventually wins. Can you relate to that? Tonight on Irresistible You, Ignite Your Passion and Purpose, we are going to dive into self-sabotage. Everybody I've ever met has fallen prey to this at some point or another. And guess what? There are things you can do to trick or condition the subconscious mind into being your friend, into success, into different ways of thinking, believing, being, behaving. So let's dive in. I am your host, Karen Seltz. If you are new to me, thank you so much for watching. I am here on this planet to help spiritual seekers stop seeking and start recognizing the divine within so they can live their purpose now and stop waiting. I have a history of taking every single class, hiring all kinds of coaches, constantly looking for the next thing because I never felt like I knew enough to start. I don't know if you can relate to that, if you have any of the perfectionist stuff. But that's part of what causes us to self-sabotage. So let's get started. Let's dive in. I want to start by opening up a little bit because I've had the opportunity the last few days. I've been involved in some deep meditation and healing work. And it's been really, really awe-inspiring and humbling to be in the presence of other healers and people really taking themselves on. And I've had these visions where I've been connected to the divine at such a deep level. And I saw the interconnectedness of my heart with the heart of the divine. And then the heart of the divine connected to every other heart on the planet. And if that wasn't enough, every heart on the planet connected to every single other heart on the planet. And the same thing with our minds. Like we're all connected through our hearts and through our minds. And there is no separation. It's just an illusion. And the ego will use separation or the illusion of separation to have us feeling separate and keeping us down and sabotaging ourselves. So we're going to talk a lot about different ways that you unconsciously sabotage yourself and what you can do to stop it. Stop it. So one of my biggest things that really shifted my life was when I noticed when I was complaining and I stopped it. And I am a single mom, and in my house, we actually had a complaint jar because it was such a big issue for all of us. And that thing filled up with money so quickly. In our house, it was only a 50-cent offense, but it was quick. It quickly grew to like $20 within a week or something because we each put 50 cents in every time we complained. And I didn't think that I would end up putting any money in, but it didn't take but a few seconds for me to violate. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's such an unconscious thing. And a complaint could be, oh, I got caught in traffic. I mean, that might seem like a fact, but it's just the way you look at it. Like, oh, I spent some time on the road today. I got to really hone in on this program or this podcast, or I got to spend some time in contemplation. You know, there's all kinds of ways you could look at any event. Or it could be like blatant victim stuff, like my boss was such a jerk today, or you won't believe what my husband did. It could be anything like that. But anytime you complain, you make yourself a victim. And anytime you're a victim, guess what? You are not a creator. You're not a creator. You are not responsible for your life, which makes you unable to change anything. Victims have no power. They're not able to change their circumstances. They're not able to make different choices because they are at effect, not at cause. So I really want you to start being aware of what comes out of your mouth and what's the purpose behind it. So if you are complaining, just notice it and say, oh, interesting. I was thinking I was a victim of something or somebody. Because if you are complaining, you cannot create at the same time. So if you don't like something, what you can do is say, well, what would I rather have instead? What would I rather have? What would I rather experience? Who would I rather be in a circumstance? Whatever it is, depending on the circumstance or the situation, you are at choice. Nobody else. You get to create your reality. So one of the things that's really come into my field of awareness this week is the importance of having a clear vision. Because we've all heard about manifesting and about goal setting. We've heard all these things. But how many of us have actual, very clear instructions to the universe? This is what success looks like to me. This is what a successful relationship looks like. This is what my life gets to look like. This is what I want. This is what I want my bank account to read. This is how I want my friends to feel when they're around me and how I want to feel when I'm around my friends. This is the exact type of impact I'm here to make, whatever it is for you. And it can be physical things like this is the house I want, this is the car I want. But really, if you get to those things at that level, I invite you to go deeper and determine, like, what is it that you want to feel when you have those things? Because for many people, it's things like freedom, contribution, self-worth, value. You want to matter, you want to make a difference. And yes, money can give you those things. Things can give you those things too. But figure out your why. So have a clear vision. And what does it look like? What does that vision look like? What does your day look like? Have a clear mental picture. And what's your why behind each thing? What's your purpose for wanting those things? What do you think it'll give you? It's really interesting too. I did some exercises recently that had me do that same thing, but they went further, like, well, do you think you don't have those now? Or do you have those things now? Like when I was freedom, I'm like, well, yeah, I have freedom now. And when I think I don't have it, then I am making myself separate from my vision, when really your vision is inside you. It's inside you. You can't be separate from it. It's so beautiful. I love it. So then you have a clear mental picture. You know your why. You have faith that it's already here. It's already here, and you live as if. And that doesn't mean spending money you don't have, booking vacations that you don't have the money to pay for. But it means living those ways of being, feeling the freedom, feeling the wind blow through your hair if you want to bungee jump. I don't know, whatever it is. And then giving thanks, being in gratitude, like, thank you for my life. Thank you for these feelings of freedom. Thank you for my abundant nature. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the more you can be in gratitude, the more you are in the vibration of a receiver. Because if you think about, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says this all the time, the ultimate state of receivership is gratitude, because gratitude, the signature of it, means that you've already received something. So you get to be grateful. And that's an old, outdated model. It doesn't work that way. You get to be grateful ahead of the event, and then you will magnetize it to you. So have your clear vision. That way, when these things come up and you're aware, like, okay, I can either have my vision or I can complain, but I can't have both. You cannot complain and create your vision. It doesn't work that way. You get to choose. So along those same lines of complaining is blaming other people for anything at all. Because again, it makes you a victim, it makes you not responsible for your life, and it makes you at effect and not cause. And everything, when you are waking up, when you are creating your life, when you're becoming responsible for everything you experience, everything you create, everything that you have, you cannot create that from a state of victim. You must be responsible for all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you are responsible, you are at choice to create something different if you would rather have something different. Some of the other things is thinking, you know, like how things are going to happen, and being like, no, I only want my money to come from my work. Well, if you're creating wealth, you get to be flexible on how it comes to you. Now, I'm specific. I say in many happy and surprising ways, because I don't want people to die and leave me money, but you can say whatever you want, just be specific, because the universe is going to bring it, however it's going to bring it. And the same comes with everything, like relationships, friendships, whatever it is that you're, have your vision on. Be specific what you want, and then trust that the universe will bring it in a way that is for your highest good. In fact, that's a good thing to say. Bring it in a way that's for my highest good, which I love. All right. So another thing that I found is a way of self-sabotage is not trusting yourself. And this goes back to a lot of different things. For me, the biggest contributor to trusting or not trusting myself is whether I am in integrity with my word. Can I trust myself? When I say something or when I make an agreement in my head, whether it's out loud or not, do I follow through? And I realized I was in integrity in almost every single area of my life. And I have this accountability buddy. And I would make these declarations like, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. And then I wouldn't look at that list again until we met the next week. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't do, half of these things. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, I talk about this all the time. And this is an area that really I get to look at, is how much I'm accomplishing in my business. So I've been super duper careful. And if I know I'm not going to make a commitment, I renegotiate ahead of time. And I give her a new date. Like, this is when I'll have it done. And I am doing it. I am like, my ass is on the line. No matter what, I'm doing the thing. And it's amazing how much that one area translates to every other area of my life. Because when I say something, my subconscious mind says, yep, she's going to follow through on it. There's no question. Look at the evidence. When you break an agreement with yourself or with someone else, your subconscious mind keeps track of that. And then the next time you make an agreement, it says, sure, you're going to do it. Remember last time you flaked. So you might as well just give up now, because you're not going to do it. Why spend the mental energy on it? You might as well just give up. Might as well quit. That's a big form of self-sabotage. So make sure you're paying attention before you say something. If you really mean it, are you really going to follow through? Yeah, we should get together. I'll call you. And then you never do. Your subconscious mind keeps track of all of that. And so do the people you make those agreements with. I certainly do. When people make false promises, I don't trust them. I'm like, yeah, sure. We'll see. We'll see. And that's what I say to people. Yeah, we'll see. And if I don't want to get together with them, I don't say, yeah, we should get together. That just wouldn't come out of my mouth. It just wouldn't. The other things you get to be really vigilant of is, who are you spending your time with? And I don't mean people, like your children or your spouse, because you don't have a lot of choice there. Like, you get to spend time with them, but your friends, your certain colleagues that you might go to lunch with that are gossiping or negative. All of that seeps into your subconscious mind. Do you watch the news? All that seeps into your subconscious mind and paints a picture that we live in an unfriendly, unfair, ugly universe. Nobody ever gets what they want. It's a dangerous place. And you have choices. There's a zillion things you can consume. You can listen to a podcast. You can listen to music. You can meet people that are on the same path as you. You can talk about your goals and dreams and support each other. You can talk about what's real, what you're experiencing, what your struggles are, what your triumphs are. Celebrate together. So watch who you're surrounding yourself with. You've probably heard this before. I have no idea who said this, probably Carnegie or somebody, but it's, you are the combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, look at those people. What are their characteristics? Is that who you want to be? Or would you rather be someone else? Because if you would, you get to change how you're spending your time and who you're spending it with. And I know that sounds harsh. And who was it? I think it was Dr. Joe. He said, put this answering machine or this message on your answering machine. I'm making some changes in my life. I'm surrounding myself with only positive people. If I don't call you back, you're one of those changes. I think that's hilarious. I love it. So when you don't trust yourself, it's really difficult to make decisions. And you get to start trusting your gut. Go into your gut. Like if something feels good, if you're like falling forward and you're like, it's a hell yes, then it's a yes. If it's a maybe or a no, a maybe is a no and a no is a no, right? So start saying yes only to things that are in alignment with your values, which you also get to know what those are, and with your vision. So when you have that clear mental picture of your vision, anything that's not aligned with it, whether it's friendships that don't serve you anymore or that drag you down back to who you used to be or who you are, letting go of, that prevents you from becoming your highest self, the person you are here to be, because you are here to shine. You are here to create miracles everywhere you go. There are no ordinary moments that we live. Take that in. Every single moment you live is an extraordinary moment. What if we lived that way? What if we lived like when I take a step to the bathroom to go brush my teeth, that is an extraordinary moment. And I could create whatever I wanted in that moment if my mind is right and if my emotions match that. We do not live any ordinary moments. You do not live any ordinary moments. Make every single one extraordinary. You don't know how many you have. So what are you going to do with them? How long have you waited to create your dream? How many times have you sabotaged yourself? Sometimes way before you get there, before you even start. And sometimes you're almost there and you're so afraid of success, or you're predicting failure, like, oh, I've always failed before, so I'm going to fail this time. And many of us fall into the perfectionist trap. Like if we try one thing and it doesn't work, we're like, oh, nothing's ever going to work. I might as well give up now, or I'm going to look horrible. And it's all subconscious. It's not like we consciously say, well, that didn't work, I will just quit. No, it doesn't work like that. It's sneaky, very sneaky. And we get to look at our beliefs. So when we come up against that, for example, and we have that moment where we want to quit, we're like, oh, I feel like such an idiot because that didn't work. I wasted a lot of time. I look stupid. Whatever your story is, look at what those stories are and then find evidence to the contrary. Like, even if you think you look stupid, you risked, you are courageous. How many people can say that? How many people even try things out of their comfort zone? I think it's fewer and fewer as we get older. I mean, you look at kids, they're like, walking on something high and they're not worried about falling. They're like, if I fall, whatever, I'll get a cast. People will sign it. Like, it doesn't matter. And we're like, oh no, I can't get hurt. And hurt to us as adults is this huge filter of every past pain we've ever experienced. So it's things like, oh, I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to lose respect. I'm going to stutter. I'm going to say, I'm going to say, Who cares? Who cares? I love the Brene Brown thing about being courageous, like daring greatly. It's like, don't take advice from people who are sitting in the bleachers. Only take feedback from people who love you and who are playing the game. They're playing a bigger game than you. Those are the people that I'm willing to take feedback from. Not the people who are off like, oh, you messed this up. Oh, your hair was messed up. Like, who cares? Those are not my people. Those are not my people. You are my people. You. And you have people that are waiting for you to show up in your greatness, in your strength, and to shine. Because nobody else has your dharma, your book of life, where there's only one purpose for you, and you're the only person that can fulfill that purpose. Nobody else has it. No one else has your unique set of gifts, talents, experience, wisdom. Nobody. So what do you get to do to overcome self-sabotage? My first challenge for you is to go on a blaming and complaining fast for 1 week. Just know it is. Every time you want to complain or every time you do complain, correct it. Say, oh my gosh, I just complained. I prefer to be this. I choose to experience love instead. I choose to create something else. Create or complain. Create or complain. So what do you want to create instead of the situation that you don't like? Because when you're complaining about it, remember, you don't have any power over it. You cannot change it. You are at effect, not cause. And remember to get very crystal clear on your vision. What exactly do you want? What do you want to have? Who do you want to be? What do you want to experience? Like, write a bucket list if you want to. But also, what is your vision for right now, for your life within the next 3 to 6 months? What's your vision? What do you want? Allow yourself to dream and figure out what you are going to feel when you have all those things. What are you going to feel? What are you going to experience? And find ways to experience those and be those now. Be those now. So when you get clear on your why, you have some juice underneath your vision. Otherwise, it's just like pictures, and it doesn't matter. So there's no meat to it, Whereas if you know your why, you will be propelled beyond comfort. You will be committed rather than interested. Because a lot of times we'll say, oh, I really want this, but do you? Are you committed to it no matter what? Are you willing to get uncomfortable? Are you willing to, sweat and get bloody and dirty and fall down and get back up again and try again? And well, that didn't work. Let's do something else. Or here's a novel idea. Let's ask someone for support or advice. I'm speaking for myself, not you, but I'm guessing if you're watching this, you could relate. And then have faith like your vision's coming. It would not have been put in your head if it weren't yours already. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't. So trust that and give thanks for it. Be grateful. Be grateful. Enough with the sabotaging. Enough with giving up. Enough settling for a mediocre life in any area. It's enough. It's enough. I'm done with it for you. I'm done. So stop it and know that you can have whatever you want. You can. And if you'd like support, find a community, find some people that are on the same path as you. It's really difficult to do it alone. I get that. So find some people that resonate, pray for it. God, please bring me the people in my life that will help catapult me to the next level, because I'm here for more than this. Yes, that is my declaration. Thank you so much for watching. I have a new free guide out that I would love to give to you. It is called 20 Ways Spiritual Seekers Stop Seeking and Start Living Their Purpose. You can grab it on my website, which is KarenSeltz.com. I'll see you right here next week. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah!